Good afternoon. How are you diddling? Excellent. Me too. Thank you very much for asking. Welcome to another episode of Dazed and Confused, your 3 times a week live show where I talk to you about social media, about video, and all the stuff, most importantly, that you could be doing for free. So who am I to tell you anything? First things first, well, I'm Simon Scholes. I'm the founder and creative director of Perception Studios. We're an award-winning visual marketing agency, and we help brands and businesses create content that really makes them stand out beyond the rest of their competition, be that video, animation, aerial work, all that kind of stuff. However, a few years ago, it became really obvious to me that not every brand and every business was in a position to necessarily have content created on a regular basis. However, we live in an age where we all know consistency on this thing is imperative if you're trying to build an organic audience. If you're paying for content to be put in front of people, it's a totally different kettle of fish. But if you're going organic, consistency is really important. But if you can't afford to pay for somebody to create content for you to be put out on your mobile phone, what can you do? So I sat down and I came up with a process that I'd been using for years for my own business, for my own brand, for other clients, businesses and brands. And I turned it into a book and it went to #1, which is really cool. And it's called How to 9 Times Your Social Media. And that's what these lives are all about. It's just trying to get you creating content quickly, easily, and most importantly, for free. My second favorite 4-letter word in the world. So that's what we're here for today. We're going to talk about some of my top social media tips for 2021, my 5 top social media tips for 2021, in fact. And it's all stuff that I've spoken about before. So things that you should be doing anyway, but stuff for you to think even slightly more deeply, because these are the 5 things I think are really going to make a big difference to your social media. And I don't mean platforms and stuff that you should be on, but generally how and potentially where you should be using your social media, but mostly how. A quick hello to Sauna, who has joined us on LinkedIn. Thank you very much for joining us, Sauna Khan. And wow, I hope that wow is just wow. What an amazingly gorgeous, handsome individual this is on the screen right now. And not wow, oh my God, this is terrible. Right, shall we get started? So my top 5 tips for 2021 on social media. I've got a fair bit to say, so I've written them down. But the first one is provide customer services, but using your social media to do this. Now, I've spoken about this in the past, specifically Facebook Messenger. So a lot of people don't have their automated Facebook Messenger set up. So you can set up Facebook Messenger to literally the minute somebody hits your page, automatically respond to them with a question or maybe a list of things that they might be looking for answers to. And then you can type those answers into Facebook Messenger through Manager and actually give them the answers that they're looking for to frequently ask questions or send them to where they might get the answers. And then if it needs to be a more in-depth conversation, at least you've started that level of conversation off and just not left them hanging by actually just them typing in a question and then no response whatsoever. So the first thing I would recommend is automatically setting, literally straight away, right now, once this is finished, go and set up your Facebook Messenger to automatically respond to anybody who visits the page, even if it's just a hello, thank you very much for joining us. Here's a quick one from this morning. PR Fornado is asking, can I legitimately and without affecting your flow admire your shirt from afar? You may. Absolutely. I only got it today. It's taken a month for it to arrive, so I thought I'd work for this live. Anyway, so going back to providing customer service via Facebook Messenger, it's so important. And one of the times I believe this is the most important, probably the most powerful tool for you as a brand and as a business is on a weekend. So many people still think that when they switch off their computers at night and switch off their social media, that's it, social media is gone and gone away. And it really hasn't, especially on a weekend. If you switch your computer off at 5 o'clock on Friday night and don't turn it back on again until 9 o'clock Monday morning, that is a huge chunk of time in between where you could be getting a lot of messages on social media of people complaining. It might not all be good as well, which is the really awkward thing. So you are effectively shunning people complaining about your business on social media on a weekend because you're turning it off. So really, Facebook Messenger is a great tool to have set up for your business, because then they can message you through Facebook Messenger, and all you have to do is simply turn on your notifications on your phone on a weekend or on an evening. So should anything positive or negative come through on Facebook Messenger, you're able to respond quickly. And that is the imperative part. Not only because it's good for your business to respond quickly, but also because the algorithm loves to see you going back within the first 60 minutes of a message being sent to you. So if you can go back to somebody really, really quickly on Facebook Messenger, you've got a really powerful tool in your back pocket. You could also turn on notifications on each of the different social media apps, so that on a weekend or in an evening, if somebody does leave even a derogatory comment rather than a messenger message, you're still able to go back to them and respond really quickly. But really, please start to use things like Facebook Messenger as a potential customer service tool. So many people still work on that 9 to 5 concept of social media. Well, when I turn it off, that's it, it's gone away. And that's not how it works, unfortunately. So please, please, please move forward with using Facebook Messenger and other apps as well for your customer service. The next one is, if you've got them, empower anybody who works for your business to be an advocate for your brand, almost as your own personal team of influencers, because these people are working for you. They obviously, hopefully, love working for you. They love the job that they've got. They love how you run the business. So why would they not want to be an advocate of your brand? That means that they could be sharing your content in front of their audience as well, increasing the number of people that you could potentially be speaking to on a regular basis by simply retweeting the tweets that you put out, or sharing the blogs that you put out, or sharing the videos that you put out. And it doesn't need to be stuff that you're in personally. It could be brand videos, or it could be a piece of blog content they've written themselves. But empower your team to really get into actually helping put that content out there for people to actually consume, to really get involved with. Now, I know a lot of businesses kind of poo-poo the idea of actually their staff using social media, but I know other brands who've really, really cottoned onto this idea, especially brands like John Lewis. So if they're able to do it and it's good enough for them, then it's good enough for you as a smaller brand, as a smaller business, to use your amazing teams, the community you've already got within your business, to actually start pushing your content out further for you. The next thing that really is important, and I know I wouldn't really talk about platforms all that much, but it's knowing what works for what platform. Now, I've said this over and over again. I'm more of a fan of communicating than not communicating at all. But once you get in a position where you can actually have content created for you, or at least have some help in your content creation, it's really important that you actually get your messaging right across the different social media channels. For example, LinkedIn, as much as it is still a social media channel, and most people will disagree with me, I'm sure, but as much as a social media channel, casual content doesn't always work on there. You can have a bit of fun, as long as it's got a business slant on it. If you're being really casual or sticking on memes and things like that, they're fun, they're funny, they kind of work now and again, but not massively. So you've got to understand where to put the right content, and is your meme written in the right way, or at least look the right way for the community on LinkedIn to want to react and interact with that particular piece of content. So thinking about it a little bit more strategically, when you get to the point where you could afford to either have a team member creating content for you, or you've got some more time on your hands because you've hired other people to do other stuff, so you can create specific content for each channel, think about what you're creating and where you're putting it. Especially if you've got a huge demographic that you work with and actually sell to, because that way you could be creating specific content to that demographic on TikTok, as well as making specific content to that demographic on Instagram or on LinkedIn. They could be in all those places. So really, really getting the right content to work on which platform is imperative further down the line. Now, this isn't something you need to necessarily think about straight away. If you're a small business just starting out right now, you have very little budget and you're just trying to create content yourself. For me, communicating is far more important than not actually communicating at all, as long as the message is powerful and has enough value. So don't worry too much. But if you're further down the line and you do have some budget to spend it. Spend it on getting the right content created for each channel. The next one, and I go on about this over and over and over again, Engage with your audience. It is a real dick move to not be social on social media. I talk about this so often, but being social on social media in 2021, as much as it was in any other year, is imperative, especially right now that we're stuck in this lockdown situation. If you can't reach out to your audience and say thank you for a comment, or just respond to what they're saying, or even better, actually reach out to people who aren't part of your audience but asking questions about what you're an expert in. Oh no, I can't believe anybody wouldn't do this right now. So engage with your audience. It's so important. Imagine how you feel when you leave a comment on somebody else's piece of content, somebody you admire, and they respond. Well, they admire you. That's why they've put a comment on your content. So if they've taken the time to put a comment on your content, and you're only getting 4, maybe 5 comments on each piece of content, it's a really, really, really dick move. And I'm saying it over and over again, but it is. It's a real dick move not to respond to them. They have taken time out of their day to send you a message. Take a little bit of time out of your day to send them one back. It'll take you a couple of minutes, if that, to go through all your comments and respond to them. If you're getting 4 or 5 on each different channel, it's not going to take you long to literally click, scroll, respond, click, scroll, respond. It doesn't take long. So really, really important. The final thing I want you to think about, and this is something you find a lot of brands, a lot of businesses doing, is actually deliver on your promises. Now, this year I have promised that I am going to do a podcast every single day, 365 days of the year, or at least I'm going to try. And so I am delivering on that. So deliver on your social media promises. If you are offering a discount of 20% on a specific product, live up to that promise. There's a lot of brands out there, smaller ones and larger ones, who are not necessarily living up to the promises that they're putting out on social media, which again is really not a good move and rolls right back into the customer service thing that I started talking about at the very beginning of this live. So if you're promising to do something, actually do it. Don't fall through on not doing it. People using social media right now can spot a fake a million miles away now. So you can't afford to be one of the fakes. And you certainly can't afford to be like a fake it till you make it guru or what have you, because people can just spot you so far away. Oh, look, what a great photo on a beach or in front of a jet or a nice car. That house, that's in Bournemouth, and I saw it on Airbnb in front of a rented house. Just be honest about it. Don't be an arse. And just, like I said, just deliver on your promises. Just be you. Deliver on what it is that you're promising people, because the con artists, people are spotting them a million miles away. So don't be one of them. Don't be one of them. And that's it. My 5 simple tips for you to really push hard on your social media for 2021. So customer service. If you've got any, get your employees to really help push your content out further. And if you don't have any employees, friends, family, people who would support your business and your brand, get them to help putting it out. Know what content works on what platform, and especially if you've got the budget to spend on having content created. Engage with your audience, be social on social media, and finally deliver on what you promise people at the time you are promising it. Don't be a fake it till you make it con person. That's it. That's all it needs to be. Right. It's a short one today, but hopefully 5 powerful tips to really help you take your content to another level in 2021. I'm going to disappear, but thank you very much for watching today. If you've watched all the way through, hopefully people like Dan have watched all the way through, watching on LinkedIn. If you have, then it would be amazing if you could take this piece of content and share it with your audience. Maybe they are going to get some value from it as well. And if you listen to the podcast, which will be up later on this evening, how about you also leave a 5-star rating and a review, especially if you're listening on iTunes. But until Wednesday, when I'll be back again at midday, thanks ever so much for watching, listening, however you're actually consuming this piece of content. And I will catch you on Wednesday. But until then, stay safe and have a good one. Thanks again.